Hey y'all, thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be recapping With Love Meghan Season 2, Episode 5, Spice Up Your Life. This episode featured Jay and Roddy Shetty, so let's get into it. Once again, thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be recapping With Love Meghan Season 2, Episode 5, Spice Up Your Life. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Now let's get into the recap. Did you go subscribe? I can actually see you through the screen now. It's new and really innovative technology. I can see you. And if you aren't subscribed, I will know. And you and I will have beef. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Now we can move on to the recap. When I first saw the title of this episode, Spice Up Your Life, do y'all know I made so many assumptions in a 30-second span that I should win some sort of award. I reached to the heavens and beyond with all of the assumptions that I made. I am a tragic millennial. So when I saw Spice Up Your Life, the first thing I thought was Spice Girls. And then the immediate thought that came after that was, oh my gosh, did Meghan get ginger spice? Does that mean Prince Harry is gonna be on so that she can have both gingers on an episode? Y'all, why did I go so far? I went to the heavens and beyond. Now, obviously, my assumptions are Meghan's problem. This is all her fault, simply because a show that she has that heavily involves cooking, so obviously heavily involves herbs and spices, she should have known that there would be someone out there, me, who would make several assumptions that have nothing to do with her in the privacy of my own home and my own inability to simply just read who the guests would be and make 1,000,001 assumptions. That's her fault. That does leave us primed and ready for a season 3. I would love to see the Spice Girls. Just saying. And if we got Prince Harry and Ginger Spice on one episode, I don't know that my mind could take it. I feel like at the end of the episode, my hair would be red. So we'll see. When I saw Spice Up Your Life, I immediately started singing the song because I am who I am. Don't judge me, or do. But then I saw it was featuring Jay and Roddy Shetty. Now, I have been a fan of Jay Shetty for years. I've been listening to his podcast for a long time. I was first introduced to him when he interviewed Will Smith, and then I saw another interview of his with Michael B. Jordan. And something that people often forget or don't realize about Michael B. Jordan is that he drops a lot of gems in his interviews. He's a walking motivator. He is. I love his interviews. Now, when I first started watching Michael B. Jordan interviews, it was for very different reasons. A girl can gawk, okay? But he happens to be dropping knowledge. He always has such motivating and encouraging words. But anyway, that's how I knew of Jay Shetty. And I was just like, oh, cool. I'm really interested in what they were going to be doing. I'm not going to lie. I assumed that they were going to be like meditating or doing something like that. My initial thought was like, what if they do something with like sound bowls? Like in my mind, I went so far because I know that Jay Shetty's main topic is like mental wellness, mental health, just kind of like being one with your mind, body, soul. Like that's kind of his thing. And so I assumed we would be going in that direction. I also wasn't sure what to expect when I saw that Roddy Shetty would be there because I didn't know much about her. And first of all, let me just say this, not that it's the most important thing, but it was the first thing I noticed is, man, is she gorgeous. Man, she looks like a Disney character. Like I've always said that Meghan looks like a Disney princess. Like she just looks like a princess. Like Meghan looks drawn to me. And so to see her and Roddy next to each other, I was just like, am I the only one that is seriously getting Disney princess vibes from this whole scene? Like, man, there was so much beauty in the room, and Jay as well. They're all very beautiful people. And I was like, they're all just like communing and getting to know each other and just spending time together. And there's just this warm, fuzzy energy around the whole episode. But my goodness, are they gorgeous people? My gosh. So anyway, that was like the first thing I noticed, just everybody pretty. Let's actually start the recap, shall we? This isn't Sharion's rant time. Let's actually do the thing. So first we open up the episode with Meghan and Jamie Kern-Lima picking olives. Now they're with the team at Ojai Olive Oil. And I thought that was so cool that we actually not only saw them picking olives, but we got a lot of olive facts.
It takes all the olives from 2 trees for a whole year to make 1 gallon of olive oil.
Wow.
I did not know that. And I use olive oil on everything. And I love that. And I felt like that might have been a subtle nod to Palestine. I don't know. I'm not going to reach, but I just thought that was a subtle nod, a show of love and support to Palestine. So now we get into the episode and we find out that the guests will actually be Jay and Roddy Shetty, which is great for me because I am a huge fan of Jay Shetty. I listen to his podcast. Now, what I did not have experience in was listening to or knowing anything about Roddy Shetty. I didn't know much about his wife. I really enjoyed how Jay Shetty, who is a host and is well known and he's a natural orator, how he kind of stepped back and let his wife have the shine for the episode. I thought that was really cool. Now, one thing that I noticed when they arrived, right away, I noticed their energy along with Meghan's was off the charts. They had such a natural and warm chemistry, and I can see exactly why they hit it off immediately and why they are now hanging out outside of that environment where they met. I would have loved to see Prince Harry in this mix as well for like the couples thing. I would have loved to see how their dynamic played out. But I just thought that was really cool. And it was not bring your husband to work day, so I'm not going to bother Meghan about it. I just was so curious about like how they hang out as couples. I bet they have a lot of fun. One of the things that I loved about how Meghan welcomed them was that she respected the fact that they don't drink alcohol. And she, instead of just giving them water, she decided to make a very pretty drink for them. And when they drank it, clearly it was delicious because they were making all kinds of ums and oohs and ahs. She definitely got a gold star for that. That looked like it was a delicious drink, but it was very pretty. But I also thought it was just extremely considerate to know that about someone. And instead of being annoying, like some people can do and be like, oh, just have a drink, have a shot. And I hate when people do that to me. Like, I don't drink. No gracias. I will if it's integral to the evening. So like if you're doing a champagne toast or inviting me to like a wine down or like a dinner, like a wine tasting dinner or something, I will participate in the activities. But if it's a meal and I don't have to drink and it's not integral to the night, I won't. And I prefer not to. And I don't like to be asked. So I love that she didn't even put them in that predicament, which obviously she wouldn't. That's just not how she rolls. Now, something that they got into right out the gate, they have parties every week. And sometimes they can have between 8 and 40 people at their house for game night. My jaw was on the floor. I cannot imagine having 40 people in my home. That would drive me insane. Not that I don't trust people, but I just don't like people touching my stuff. Like I like to have people in designated areas, but like once they venture off and they start opening doors and going down hallways and peeking, it just gives me anxiety. Like I didn't say you could go in there, get back in the living room. I'm not a big fan of people like all over my things. And I'm sure there's something that I need to unpack about that. And so I'm really curious as to how they do that, where everybody sits, how they set up their stations. I would love to see some behind the scenes on that. But what were you guys' reaction to that? Have you guys ever had a party with that many people at your house? If you do, you have a big house. But also, how did you manage to not lose it like I would? Share your tips in the comment section below. So then we get into the activity of the episode. They go make soap. I thought this was cool because I felt like the whole episode was kind of warm. It felt like warm and comforting, and it was really highlighting connection. And also it had a heavy culture vibe, and with Roddy teaching some of the recipes that are really integral to her culture, but also the plant-based versions of those recipes. I thought it was very personal. This episode just had like a personal get to know me energy. And I thought, what's more personal than soap? Something that you're going to put on your hands, your body, and share with your family. And another touch from Meghan, the master of ceremonies. She is so good at making people feel welcome. All the ingredients in the soap making were all natural. Like, again, she's so freaking considerate. I loved how they did that. Now, their soap looked beautiful. I would have loved to smell it because some of the flavors, some of the scents they were talking about really intrigued me, especially Jay Shetty with the eucalyptus and lavender. That's my favorite combo, especially in my bathroom. I like for all of my candles, if they have a scent, to be eucalyptus. All of them. And then for my bath, like bubbles and bath wash and things like that, everything is lavender. So I'm so familiar with that combo, and it's the most relaxing combo for me. And so when he said that, I was like, ooh, I want to smell your soap, Jay. I want to smell your soap. Everybody's came out so pretty. I wouldn't want to use it. I would put that up and be like, that's my decorative soap. My aunt used to do seashell soap, and you couldn't use it. It was just always up in her house, and her sink was shaped like a seashell. So her whole bathroom had like a beach vibe, like a coastal vibe. And she had decorative soap that was seashell soap. And I wanted to use it so bad. Oh my, it smells so good. But she was like, that's my decorative soap, and I don't want you using that. But anyway, that's what I would have done with this soap. No matter how good it smelled, I would have been like, don't touch my pretty soap. I made that with Meghan.
Wet a little bit just to help with the
warmth and let it rise.
Yeah, let's put it in a nice.
When you rest for about a half hour, you said?
About a half hour. So you see all of this popping, snap, crackle, pop. Oh, that's good. Okay, then we're going to chuck in the ginger.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best bit is when you get a cashew and you pull it.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, and
sweet potatoes first because they need a little more time.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just chuck it in.
Right.
Perfect.
I love how everything we've done today is so analog.
Complete tactile experience. It just reconnects you.
So then really you're just going to grab pieces.
Fun.
And then you're going to kind of coat it in a little bit of flour. And then these are my rolling pins. I roll mine just in case.
Why is it so thin?
That's a really good question. I think it's because we roll our rotis, our traditional bread, every day very thin.
So then we move on to the desserts. And Meghan actually made vegan coconut macaroons with a vegan chocolate drizzle. It was clearly delicious, but it was also so pretty. And what a unique dessert. I'm actually not a big macaroon person, but those looked really good. And judging by everybody's reactions, yet again, it was an ace in the hole. Everybody loved it. Now, one of the main things that I noticed about the scene of her making the macaroons was the navy blue button down that she was wearing. Loved it. I thought that was so pretty. The color was so rich and it was such a nice size, like it was fitted really well. But I loved that button down. That was very pretty. Then we move back to the kitchen and we see Roddy makes chai masala tea from scratch to have with the coconut macaroons. And clearly everything was delicious. But that process was actually a lot more simple than I thought it would be. I'm glad that she did that on camera. I might try to make that. And I hope it turns out like hers, because clearly hers turned out really well. Everybody had a big reaction, but it looked like it was just such a cozy little snack. Thank you so much for watching the SharionSade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get back to the video. Now, one of the things that I also noticed was like the whole episode just kind of felt like, I don't know how to put it. The whole episode just kind of felt warm. It actually kind of reminded me of like holiday season. Now I'm excited about With Love having a holiday episode that's coming out around the holiday season, but I'm actually going to save this episode to watch around Thanksgiving time because it just had that energy for me. It definitely had like that Thanksgiving, like that warm family time energy, especially with the dessert. I was like, oh wow, I'm going to watch this around the holidays. This kind of feels like it's fitting for that. So later, as they're winding down, Jay shares that it was not only such a special day, but that the whole day just felt good and they had such a good time. And all of them just seemed like they connected throughout the day. And I'm really glad not only were we able to see that, but I'm really glad that they were able to have those moments and we were able to see that on the show. I just thought it was so cool to kind of watch Meghan make new friends in real time. I thought that was pretty cool. Also, the things that Meghan chose for them to do while they were there, it showed a knowledge of them as people. And she also mentioned liking to incorporate people's favorite things. So it makes sense that she was considerate of the things that they like. But one of the main takeaways that I had about how she hosts in general, but particularly how she hosted in this episode, is she's really good at making people feel seen and allowing people to essentially take the wheel. When she meets new people, she allows them to teach her something, which is a really cool strategy, but she allows them to teach her something and to share a bit of their world with her, and showing interest in somebody as a person and what makes them them. That is a really great way to show somebody that you care and to make them feel seen. And so it's not a surprise that she has a lot of deep connections, and people always mention how she makes you feel like the only person in the world when you're talking to her. And we get to see how she does that by just being considerate. And you'd be surprised because that you would think that it's this really complex thing. It's just being a human in a world that's essentially always asking us to be anything but. And so I think that's one of my favorite takeaways of this show is it's just a reminder to be human, to connect with other humans, and just try to be the best version of ourselves. Anyway, this was a really nice episode. I really enjoyed it. I loved getting to know more about Shetty. I did not know much about her, but now, again, as with every other guest, I'm going to be doing a little bit of deep diving, and I'm going to enjoy learning more about her. And of course, as always, listening to Jay Shetty's podcast. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's recap. On Friday, we have a full recap of With Love Season 2, as well as some really interesting finds that I had about people not only defending Meghan, but some really interesting takes about the show. And so we will be sharing that in the live stream on Friday. So I hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. And I will see you next time. Bye.